everyone, so this is going to be the first video in a series of videos on the basics of Celtic rhythm guitar. So over the next few videos we're going to look at some simple chords and strumming patterns that you can use to back reels. And we're going to be starting off in the key of G major, and we're going to learn a couple of the chords that I just played at the beginning of the video. Also, along with the chords, we're going to learn the strumming pattern that I just used as well, which is one of the most common strumming patterns to use for backing reels. So luckily for us, with the chords that we're going to be learning, and for a lot of chords that are used in Celtic rhythm guitar, we're basically just adapting chords that you've probably already seen before. We're gonna, maybe mute an extra string as we're playing, or change the fingering just slightly to make the chords a little bit punchier. And the reason that we're doing that is because so much of Celtic rhythm guitar is based on your right hand. So we're just basically trying to create an open sound that's got a powerful sort of drive, and we can do that by matching up our right hand with some nice punchy chords on our left hand. So we'll look at the chords just now, then we'll look at the strumming pattern, and in the next video we're going to look at using these chords to back a simple reel in G major. So we're just going to be learning 3 chords, and luckily we only need to move one finger to play each of these chords, okay? So we're going to take our basic sort of G major chord that I'm sure a lot of you have seen before. If you don't know a G major chord, it's just second finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, the D is open, the G is open, and then we've got our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and our little finger on the 3rd fret of the high E. So instead of playing that full G major shape, all we're going to do is take our first finger off, and then we're going to let this second finger, everything else is just staying in the same place, but this second finger is just going to rest over the A string. So if you can see, it's just curling ever so slightly. It's still pressing down on its original string, 3rd fret of the low E, but now we're muting this A string, okay? So the reason that we're doing that is we get a far punchier chord. So if I just do a down strum on a normal G first, okay? Instead of that, we're going for this G modal shape. So the first finger off, it's gonna be like this. So normal G, G modal. So this is going to be something that comes up quite a lot in Celtic rhythm guitar. We're taking the 3rd out of the chord, okay? And that means if we were to play a reel in G minor as well, this chord is also suitable, okay? This is a G modal or G5 chord, okay? So then the second chord we're going to play is, we're going to play this C add 9, and we're going to adapt this chord, okay? So you might have seen this chord as well. It's just basically your first G major, but we're just moving our 2nd and our 1st finger down a string each, okay? So we've now got our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, our G's open, and then we've got our 3rd and little finger. They're going to stay in the same place for this whole series of chords, okay? But now my thumb is coming over and it's muting the low E, okay? So that's going to be a C add 9, if you've not played that before. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our first finger off and do the exact same thing kind of as what we were doing with the first chord. So now our 2nd finger again is muting the string underneath it. So instead of this, we've now got this. So not this, but this instead. Okay, for our last chord, we're doing this D sus4. Okay, so again, our 3rd and little finger are not going to move. They stay in the same place, but we're going to put our first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string this time, okay? And this is personal preference, but I normally just play from the D string down, but if you want, you can also play the A open too. But again, this thumb's going to stay in the same place and we're muting the low E. So either this with the A in, or either's fine, okay? But just make sure that you keep the low E muted. But if you want to include the A in it, that means you don't need to worry too much about the accuracy of your strumming straight away. So running through each of the chords, we've got this G5, then we're going to have our C add 9 without the E in it, and then our D sus4. Okay, so now for our strumming pattern, we're going to be using one of the most commonly used reel strumming patterns. So if we're counting out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going to be emphasizing the 2 and the 4. So we're going to be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we play that with the chords that we've just been learning, it's going to sound a little bit like this. Okay, so we'll try that together now. We're going to play a couple of bars on each chord. So we're going to go G, then C add 9, then back to G, and then to our D sus4. And we're going to start off quite slow, and we'll slowly build up the speed to a similar speed to what I was just playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. In the next one, we're going to use these chords to back a basic reel in G major. If you're looking for more lessons like this, you can check out my Patreon where we're going through every single key, and we're also looking at me using the chords in context backing fiddle players and other instrumentalists. So if you'd be interested in that, you can check out the link which is in the description below. But thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.